A wave roared onto the beach and crashed into Tsunami's towns. Her webbed claws sank into the wet sand. Her blue wings blowed in the wind. She lifted her head, breathing in the wild sea air. This was where she was supposed to be. This was her ocean. "Let me guess," Glory said mockingly behind her. "You guys, that's the smell of freedom." "Freedom smells a lot like fish," Starflight observed. Which, to be clear, is kind of awful. "I love it," Tsunami said. This was what the Talents of Peace had stolen from her. They'd kept her trapped in the stale, dreary air under the mountain her whole life, when she was meant to be out here, flying and swimming and living like a real sea wing. Starflight glanced up at the sky and edged back toward the foliage that lined the beach. "Shouldn't we stay under the trees? What if a patrol spots us? I mean," he stopped and took a deep breath. "We must stay under the trees. All right, yes, everyone, back into the trees, right now." The others ignored him, although Sunny gave him a pitying glance. Tsunami bent her head to study the waves washing over her talons. Small shapes, silver and green and yellow, darted through the shadows. The ocean smelled much more alive than the cave river. Was it only a week since they'd run away from their guardians? It was hard to remember exactly how long they'd been trapped in the Skywing prison, but there was one thing Tsunami remembered clearly: the sounds of bones snapping under her talons. She poked a hole in the sand with her claw. "I had to kill the sea wing. Queen Scarlet forced us to fight. There was no other way out of the arena. He was crazy. It was him or me." The same thought kept circling her head like a lame-winged dragon. She shook her head and flared her wings. This was ridiculous. Was she a dragon or a scavenger? Dragons were meant to be fierce warriors. One little death shouldn't rattle her so much. Besides, Gloria had done worse with her deadly venom, and she didn't seem to be bothered. "You know what I love," Clay said mournfully. "Fish. Lots of fish. Big fish I can eat, not little wiggly scraps." The mudwing sat down on the sand beside Tsunami, his stomach growling loud enough for all of them to hear. Sunny giggled. "Clay, it's only been a day since you caught that enormous pig for us all." "Wasn't enormous," Clay said. He sighed, his wings drooping. "That was the smallest pig in the whole world. You should have ate my carrots." Sunny climbed up to sit on his back and peer out at the ocean. The sun was just rising, the peach-pale sky casting broken paths of light across the water. Two of the moons, barely slivers like thin claws, were vanishing behind the mountains. "I'm serious, everybody," Starflight said. "It's not safe out on the beach, not with all the mudwings and skywings looking for us." The Nightwing was standing well out of reach of the waves, trying to shake sand off his talons. As far as Tsunami was concerned, they'd already wasted a day flying south of the Diamond Spring Delta, basically because Starflight had worried and complained until everyone agreed. Yes, the Skywings were after them. Yes, they were probably mad about the dragons escaping from the Skywing prison, and they were pretty definitely mad about the part where Gloria maybe killed their queen on the way out. But Tsunami didn't want to keep running. She wanted to find her family, and once they knew who she was sure the Sea Wings would protect her and her friends. Most of all, she really wanted Starflight to stop fretting, complaining, and bossing. It made the others nervous and harder to organize. She almost wished the Nightwings hadn't given them back. "Why are you so worried?" Tsunami asked him. "If they do recapture us, won't your Nightwing friends come swooping in to rescue you again?" Starflight fluttered his wings indignantly. "I'm not worried about me," he said. "I'm trying to keep all of us safe." He glanced at Sunny and ducked his head. "I'm keeping us safe just fine," Tsunami protested. "When have I ever led us wrong?" "Well," Glory pointed out, "there was the one time we got captured by the Skywings and their queen nearly killed us all." Tsunami smacked her tail into the water and sent a cold wave over Glory. The Rainwing hissed and jumped away from the sea. "Stop it," Sunny said. "Stop fighting, all of you. Clay, stop them." She patted the top of his head to pull his attention back from the teeny fish swimming around his feet. "Oh yes, let's hear from our big wings," Glory teased. Her scales this morning were gold like Sunny's, but with drifting splashes of ocean blue. She sat down and yawned at Tsunami, displaying her venom-spitting teeth. "Hey," Clay said, nudging Tsunami's wing with his own. "It's all right for Starflight to worry. We don't even know if Scarlet is alive or dead, but," he added quickly, I know you want to find the sea wings as fast as possible, so let's find them instead of fighting about it, and then we can get to safety sooner. Tsunami shot one more narrowed-eyed look at Starflight, then turned back to the ocean. Clay was right. The important thing was to find her family and a safe place for them all to hide. Aw, Glory said. So wise and big. I think he is, Sunny said, wrapping her forearm around Clay's neck. Starflight sat down, flapping his tail around his talons unhappily. Glory settled her sun-colored wing. So now what? Should we just shout, "Hey Ziggs, we got your missing princess," and wait for the dragons to bound joyfully out of the ocean? With a feast, Clay cried, startling a seagull into the air. There was a feast at the end of the story when the missing princess got home. The parents were so happy, they made a feast. I remember the feast. They ate a whole whale. That was a good feast. I bet I could eat a whole whale. Do you think we'll get a feast? The missing princess was just a story in a scroll, Starflight said. We have no idea what we'll actually find in the kingdom of the sea. That's true. Clay's wings drooped. It might not be what you're hoping for, Tsunami. Like finding out my mother sold me for a cow. Hey, said Glory. At least 2 cows. Comforting, Clay said. It wouldn't be like that for Tsunami. She was sure of it. Maybe Clay's dream of his family turned out to be all wrong, but hers would be perfect, especially now that she knew her egg had been stolen from the royal hatchery. She was the daughter of the Sea Queen. Not only that, but according to Starflight, none of the queen's other female dragonets had survived to adulthood. Tsunami was the only living heir to the Sea Kingdom. One day, she would be queen of the Sea Wings. True, that meant one day she'd have to fight her own mother to the death to become queen. But that day could be as far off as she wanted it to be, not something she had to think about now. She spread her wings and breathed in the salty spray air. Again, out of the corner of her eye, she kept seeing teeny creatures pop out of the speckled sand and then vanish again. I could just dive in and look for the Sea Wing Palace, Tsunami suggested. Out there? Starflight sounded alarmed. He spread his wings and shook sand off them, blinking anxiously. Where else do you suggest I find the sea wings? He asked. Swimming in the ocean is not like swimming in the underground cave river, Starflight lectured. There are strong currents and unpredictable waves and big things with teeth. I'm a big thing with teeth. Tsunami grinned at him. He didn't laugh. It's not safe, he said. What if we lose you? Tsunami wanted to poke his wrinkled up worried snout with her sharpest claw. Starflight, cheer up! Sunny injected. Tsunami can do anything, and how is she supposed to get home to her family if she can't go into the sea? Oh no! Clay heaves himself to his feet, scattering sand and nearly dislodging Sunny, who grabbed his neck with a yelp. Sand and seashells and teeny astrostomic crabs flew through the air and lashed his tail. Oh, stop that! Ow! Stop that! Glory commanded, covering her eyes. What about us? Clay's big brown wings flapped. I didn't think of that. Tsunami, we can't go with you to the Sea Wing Palace. We can't breathe down there. How can we stick together if you're underwater? He clawed at the water, leaving deep gouges in the wet sand. What are we going to do? Tsunami kind of adored Clay when he was in the tizzy. She also adored it when it took him an entire day for this to occur to him, that the kingdom of the sea was underwater. Seriously, Gloria said to Clay, all those geography lessons and not a single one stuck in. Clay turned into in a confused circle. Crabs scattered out of the way of his giant talons. What? The sea wings have a above water palace too, Starflight said in his "See, you should have studied more" voice, so they can receive guests, like their Sandwing Alley, Blister. It's on an island somewhere in the Bay of 1,000 Scales. Oh, Clay sat down with a wishing sigh. Sunny patted his shoulder. I didn't remember that either, she offered. So we go there, right? Not easily, Starflight said. Both Sea Wing palaces, underwater and on land, are well hidden. That's how they've lasted so long in this war, even though they didn't They don't have fire like the other tribes. Nobody can find them to attack their homes. Sounds like the Nightwings, Gloria snapped. It's nothing like the Nightwings, Tsunami cried. Sea Wings aren't trying to act all mysterious and prejudiced. They're just getting sensible about guarding their homes. There are over 1,000 islands to search, but it's still probably... Starflight stopped mid-sentence and glanced at the sky again. Does anyone else smell fire? 3 moons. Starflight, I'm not hiding in the trees every time some little thing spooks you, Tsunami said. Wait, I think he's right, Sunny said, lifting her head. I hear wing beats. I do too, Starflight said. The spiny ridge along his back stood up in alert, and he bolted for the trees, running as fast as he could. From this far away, Tsunami said speculatively, I don't see anything up here. But just as she said it, she spotted a cluster of red specks like splattered blood in the sky, winging down from the mountains in the northwest. A scouting patrol was coming their way.